And there were 5 things that I have began to learn, guys, in the middle of all of my hell and all of my battles, that my story, it's your story, it's our story. It's the story of people just trying to figure out what's next and who am I and what do I want to achieve and what do I want to become. And how do I navigate these waters of home lives that aren't the best? And how do I navigate these waters of emotions that I don't understand? And how do I deal with the words that people say to me? And so just a visual reminder, I just want you to see these. The picture of me at 18, a heartbeat away from probably a drug overdose, a young man on the verge of ending his life. The mask. It's almost like you can really see the mask, because that's not me. That's a young man who was afraid to use his resources. You see, we need each other, like it, love it, or leave it. You weren't born to do this on your own. You are not an island, and you can never see your blind spots. We need each other. There will be days that you want to give up, and those people entrusted in your circle, they will be the ones that encourage you, inspire you, and get you to take one more step. There will be those coaches, those mentors, those people who have waged these wars before and are battle tested that can hold you up. But it's so hard for us to use those. Ultimately, it's so hard for us in our culture to say, help. It's hard for us in our culture to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, forgive me. The mask. I remember my father, and I remember when I was a kid how much, even though I was angry at him and he was out of my life, I remember him always teaching me, as long as there was breath in these lungs, there is hope in my heart. And I remember him trying to teach me the mentality of taking control and not giving up and working hard, and circumstances never have to dictate who we are. We're not a product of the environment. We are a product by what we do. And so instead of giving up at 23, even though my life on the surface, it seemed like it could have been well but over, I wrote those words, change the world, and I slapped them on that bathroom mirror. It's the exact same words that I look at every single day today. It's the exact same words that I realize that the words change the world to me in the middle of all of my stuff, in the middle of all of my storms, that I realize this, that as long as I'm alive, there's breath in my lungs, and good choices create great opportunities. And I didn't know what I was creating in my own journey, in my own story, but I developed these 5 habits of my heart and my mind, and it's changed my life. How do I know? Well, 10 years later, I'm 10 years sober. 10 years later, I'm 10 years free from suicidal thoughts. 10 years later, I haven't self-harmed, no eating disorder. I'm chasing down my dreams. I'm not just existing, I'm experiencing life. I promise you, the things that I call the 5, these 5 habits of your heart and your mind, you don't have to be perfect at them. But if every day you just say, how can I be a little bit better today than I was yesterday? You'll turn around and realize, oh my gosh, dreams are becoming real. They're not just dreams, they're realities, and actions speak louder than words. And you will begin to look in the mirror and find real self-worth and real self-confidence. And the 5 things that changed my life, I call them the 5. We'll talk about them a little bit. But it's transparency, accountability, working hard, good choices, and valuing people. And valuing people, that's a challenging one. But transparency, accountability, hard work, good choices, and valuing people has created this 10-year space where I am running at dreams and goals and running at my fears. And I'm far from perfect. I make tons of mistakes. But you know the mentality that I've learned to create? I don't lose. I win or I learn. I don't take L's anymore. Everything that I do is a learning experience of what not to do. I'm just taking control of my life. And you know what? There's plenty of people in our hometowns that'll say, Nathan, you're never going to achieve it. You're never going to make it. You're a failure. We know who you've always been. And they can think that. They have a right to feel that way. Because many of us, we've given people the evidence of our past to not believe our words, because talk is cheap. What you do is what you believe. So 10 years ago, I wrote those words, change the world. And to me, it meant that I wanted to be a motivational speaker. I wanted to give hope to the hopeless. I wanted to be a voice to the voiceless. I wanted to let anybody know that as long as they were breathing, there was hope and that they could overcome anything. And so I went on this journey. And the first thing that I had to realize is that I had to become transparent. I had to take off my mask. Transparency means this: I'm kind of see-through. I allow people to see my cracks, my scars, and my flaws. And you know what? There's been nothing more freeing not caring about what you think about me. Because see, living a life that's kind of transparent, see-through, you know what it's caused me to do? It's caused me to reflect, to take time, to reach out, to find mentors and to find real friends that I can open up to. And see, living a life of transparency, taking the mask off, it's not because what's so empowering about it is that I'm telling them, but I'm taking the time to tell me.